And welcome back to the channel. We've got back the start of the channel, WBO World Champion Jason Moloney. How are you, man? How you getting on?
Yeah, going very well, mate. Good to chat to you again.
Yeah, good to have you back. The star at the moment. A lot been going on since we last spoke. Inoue looked amazing. Daenerys
Yes.
lost. Yeah, where should we start? Let's start with Nonito and Alexandro Santiago, who are fighting for a world title in your weight class.
Yep.
The lesser known man won. You've been thinking about a little fight with Nonito. You've said in about 3 or 4 interviews that you'd love to fight him in Australia or something with a stadium. Yeah, what did you think of that fight, man?
Yeah, I was good fight. I was a bit disappointed. I did want Nonito to win. Obviously for me, that's a fight that I wanted. He's the bigger name, probably the biggest name in their division. And if we could have fought, to fight a future Hall of Famer and a legend of the lighter weights in a unification world title fight would have been huge. So I did want him to win the WBC title and was hopeful that we could have the unification later in the year. But yeah, he was beaten. Unfortunate, I guess. Once you get to 40 years old, there's always going to be a time when Father Time catches up to you. He started off the fight well, I thought, in the
Mm.
first 3 rounds. I thought he was going to get the job done, and I actually thought Santiago looked a bit out of his depth in there with Nonito, and then yeah, pretty quick, the tides turned, and yeah, Nonito faded pretty hard, and I thought he lost the second half of the fight pretty convincingly, and yeah, so the scores reflected, I guess. So yeah, look, I was disappointed, but at the end of the day, for me, the goal is just to win all the belts and to become undisputed. And whoever holds the belts isn't really too much of my concern. So now I guess the focus for me is on Santiago. Definitely a fight that I want and a fight that I'm hopeful we can make happen. He's a good fighter, but I believe I beat him, and I'm hopeful we can make the fight happen soon.
Yeah, so cool. So it's kind of interesting turn of events that um this kind of relatively unknown. He's with Samson Lukowicz, isn't he? I think.
I think
So
he's got
yeah,
a
yeah,
part of him. He's got a
yeah.
part of
He
him.
was there
Yeah,
anyway
does.
in the ring,
Yes,
wasn't
he was there.
he? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yep.
So,
So yeah, it's a fight that I definitely think we can make happen. I'm sure they'd be keen on the unification fight as well. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I hope, I've said in the past, I want to fight in December, and I'd love the fight to be in Australia. So my team will have discussions, and hopefully we can get Santiago out to Australia. Still early days. That's what I would like to happen.
hmm.
Obviously we've got Emmanuel Rodriguez fighting this month as well, and he's another name that I'm going after as well. So yeah, there's some exciting fights. I'm really keen for the biggest and best fights possible, and I just have to sit back or work hard, but sit back and let my team do their job and put together and get the biggest fight we can, and hopefully that can happen in December in Australia.
Yeah, December in Australia. So we're getting a little bit closer to that now. When we first spoke, it was like May. Now we're in August. It's not going to be too long
Yeah.
till we're in September, and then we're into the winter. I suppose the Santiago thing, in many ways, it would kind of be easier to get him over to Australia, would it not be? Unless he's got a shady past and you got a visa problem. But yeah,
Yeah, I
is it
don't know of his
big
past,
enough?
but I think it is a very easy fight to happen. When you got two guys that want to fight each other and combine the belts. And I don't think he's got a powerhouse promoter, so I think Top Rank can get the job done and bring him out here. Hopefully they're interested in the fight. I know I am, so we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out.
So we spoke before about you quite happy Australia or America. You'll do. I'm sure you'd fight in the middle of the ocean, but you're saying Australia a bit more in December. You said it a few times there. So is there a bit more steam in that train to get you fighting at home? Maybe by the end of the year.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
There's been talks. Yeah, my team are definitely moving on that, and Top Rank do seem interested in doing it. So that's a positive, which I'm very excited about. So hopefully there's still different pieces that need to fall into place. But yeah, that's what we're aiming for. December in Australia or November, whenever it works really. I'm just, yeah, as you said, like, I just want to fight. So if it's in America again, it's in America again. If we go to Mexico, we go to Mexico. Like, I'm happy to travel, but I would love, yeah, the next fight to be in Australia. And so far, the way the ball's rolling, it looks positive. So yeah, I'm very excited about it, and hopefully we can bring a big fight down under to finish the year.
Get you out in Japan, maybe after our
Yeah,
recent
loved it. Love to.
exploits. You going
Yeah.
viral over there. So yeah.
Yeah.
So in terms of fighting in Australia, I'm thinking out loud here. We're at a stage now. You're the world champion. Can this be the Jason Moloney show? Over. You're
Yeah,
be the main
that's
man.
what we want.
Yeah,
That's what we
you're,
want.
you're the star
Yeah.
attraction. I think that's where we are now. Are we not?
Well, that's where we're
Definitely
trying
in
to build
Australia.
to. So obviously I've done the hard yards and traveled and been abroad majority of the last 3 years, been fighting in America, and now I have the title. I do really want to get the whole country behind me and put on some big fights in Australia. Obviously, I was involved in the undercard of the Cambosis Haney fights that were both out here last year, and they were really successful events, and the whole country got behind them, and it was amazing to be a part of them. But the whole time I was thinking, I want this to be, as you say, the Jason Moloney show, and I want to be headlining my own shows in the big stadiums and getting the whole country behind me. So now that I have a world title, hopefully we can do that. Start to put on some big shows, bring some big fights down here, and yeah, make the Jason Moloney show a success and something that everyone wants to come and see.
Definitely love that, the Jason Moloney show. Obviously your countryman George, he somehow got a win over Maxi Hughes. Don't know how he pulled that one off, but
Yeah.
so yeah, that was that kind of works in your favor as well. That you got time, kind of, he's still. I know he hasn't got the well, he's got the IBO. Is the IBO recognized as a world title in Australia? Am I right in thinking that?
Yeah, look, it's, I guess,
Yeah.
recognised. I guess most people still regard the Big Four as the legitimate world champions, but yeah, I mean, it's still recognised. And I know that fight was an IBO world title fight, but also an IBF eliminator. So his next fight will be for a world title. And yeah, if we can do a double header with me defending my belt and him fighting for the IBF title, then that's a huge show in Australia, anywhere in any state in the country. So that's something that could happen. I'm not too sure when he's looking to fight next, George, but I'd imagine December's a pretty good time frame for him, and I imagine he wants to get out again before the end of the year. So that could be a huge show. George, myself, and obviously my brother Andrew would fight on that show as well. So yeah, another huge show to put together that Top Rank, I'm sure, would be interested in doing.
So we've got Santiago in the driving seat at the moment, although there hasn't been any like real discussions, but that obviously there's Inoue, not the other Inoue,
Yeah,
knocking around out there. Is there any way that could, I suppose
yeah,
they'd
definitely.
be over there? That
No,
could
I'd
be,
love to fight him as well in
yeah.
here or Japan, but I think he's already signed to fight Jerwin and Carhas, so he's obviously busy. In his next fight, it's already booked. So yeah,
Rodriguez
Santiago
is busy.
is. Yeah, well, Santiago's in, I guess, the driver's seat because I would love to fight him for the WBC title. But yeah, Rodriguez is fighting in a couple of weeks, so I'd imagine he may be ready to fight in December as well. So we'll wait and see how that fight plays out. I think he'll win and get the job done, and obviously I'd love that rematch. So if he wins, yeah, Rodriguez or Santiago, either of them excites me, and hopefully we can make them happen.
He takes on Melvin Lopez. No chance of an upset there at all. You can't see that happening.
I haven't seen a great deal of Melvin Lopez. I saw his only loss, his knockout loss. I've watched that fight. Look, I guess he's a chance of upsetting Rodriguez, but I'd favour Rodriguez in that fight. I think he will get the job done. But yeah, I'll have my eyes glued, and obviously if he wins, then he's got a target on his back for me as well. So hopefully I'd like Rodriguez to win because obviously I want my revenge there. But yeah, whoever wins the belts, that's who we're going after.
Yeah. So you don't care. You're not thinking about any big names. It's belts undisputed.
Well,
That's the.
I'd prefer the
Okay.
big names. As I said, I wanted Nonito to win that fight because I prefer the bigger name. I'd prefer Rodriguez wins this fight, given he's a bigger name and we have history. And obviously, Inoue, Takuma Inoue is a big name as well, given that his brother's one of the pound for pound best fighters in the world. So, and we've got history there as well. So, I would prefer the big names, of course, but for me, the ultimate goal is just to win all the belts and become undisputed. And I can't control who holds the belts. I can only control, I guess, myself. And if I keep winning and I keep collecting the belts, and that's all I'm worried about is just being the best I can be and going after all the belts.
Brilliant, man. Exciting times. It's going to be interesting to
It
see who
is.
end up fighting in December. I hope it is in Australia. That would be cool. I would come out for that. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to, mate.
ProBox
Come
TV
over,
is
you'd
very
love it.
nice. Yeah. Well, moving on to you bring up Inoue there. We'll talk a little bit about him before we go. What a prediction! You got it. You got it absolutely perfect. I wish I put some money on it.
I did. I was happy about that.
Yeah. Oh, you did. Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not enough. You always think later, oh, I should have put more
Yeah.
on it. But no,
Yeah.
I don't bet big. I just bet for a bit of fun and adds a bit of excitement into the fights. And yeah, I nailed it, picked the round and everything.
Pick the
So
round. Oh,
yeah, picked the round. And yeah, cleaned up a bit of coin. Thank you, Anui. So yeah, good to get one back at least, he might have got me when we fought, but at least I'm
yeah.
making
You're
some
the real
money
guy.
off him.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but anyway, wow, what a performance. Like, whoa.
Incredible.
Yeah, when it was happening, did you think he was going to be that good, that dominant, that in control? Like he breezed it, didn't he? In my opinion, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I did, I guess, think it was going to go that way. Maybe not so one-sided. I thought there'd probably be times where Fulton might, I guess, ask a few more questions and maybe have some moments. But yeah, I just know firsthand how good Anui is, and I thought that he'd win the fight and would knock him out. Um, but yeah, what an incredible performance. He seems like he's only getting better, which is scary for the rest of the division and whoever else. I mean, he'll clean. He's already looking to fight DePalas in December, and then I think they mentioned he might have a defense of the titles and then move up to featherweight. So yeah, I can't see anyone beating him in the 122 or 126 pound division. So yeah, it's scary to think how good he can be and what he can achieve.
Interesting. So you answered my the next question I was going to hit you with there, like how far's his ceiling? So these next two divisions are his, basically. You think, yeah,
Yeah, well, getting up to featherweight, it's going to be a bit of a struggle. He's not a
good
big
fighters.
guy. And yeah, and there's some big guys and some good fighters in that division. So look, I think he can uh, be, very dominant as a featherweight, but that may be his ceiling. I don't know if he can keep going up from there. We'll wait and see. Obviously, it takes time to grow into the divisions. He didn't look like, everyone said, Fulton would be the bigger man, but I knew he didn't look to me like he was smaller or that Fulton was stronger or anything like that. He slotted straight into that new division easily. So yeah, I think he can definitely go up to featherweight. Whether he can go up to, super featherweight or lightweight, I don't know. He just probably doesn't have the frame or the build to fill out too much more, but you never know as we go. Manny Pacquiao done it. So yeah, it could be done, I guess. But I think maybe featherweight's his ceiling or perhaps super featherweight. But yeah, I just can't see anyone in those divisions beating him. He's just too good, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely. A lot of other people as well. Barry Jones, I did a British former world champion as well. He did it said exactly the same thing as you, pretty much. When I spoke to him. Obviously Crawford fought and looked unbelievable as well against Errol Spence. I'd say like the top. Who's your pound for pound? Who's your top out of those two at the moment? I'd probably say Usyk's in that mix of the top 3 pound for pound. Jason Moloney at a close 4. But yeah.
Look, it's yeah. I think there's a big gap between 1 and 2. Obviously, Crawford and Inoue at the moment 1 and 2. Which way you want to put them? you know, it's up to the person's preference. I think maybe Crawford. It's hard, you know. After Inoue won that fight, everyone said, you know, that's it. He's number one. Doesn't matter what happens in the Crawford Spence fight, and then Crawford comes out with one of the best performances you ever see, and probably takes that number one spot now. But yeah, it's one Crawford, probably two Inoue, and then a big gap to three. And you know, you probably put Usyk there, but I think that yeah, the 1 and 2 are just miles above at the minute. And yeah, whether both of them, the next move will be interesting. Be interesting to see what Crawford does, whether it is an immediate rematch, which I hope doesn't happen. There's not much interest in a rematch when it's so one-sided. I'd love to see him go up to 154, fight Charlo and try and become a 3-division undisputed champion. That would be incredible. Love to see that fight. Obviously, we know he's going to fight Tapales next. And I think he wins that fight easy as well. So then he becomes undisputed in 2 weights as well. So it's exciting. It's great to see, you know, these great fighters winning all the belts and so many undisputed champions at the moment. So yeah, it's great for boxing, and certainly as a fan, I'm enjoying watching these big fights happen.
Yeah, there's some great fighters out there at the moment. I am on my way to Poland very soon. I'm doing go and see another one of the pound for pound greats. So looking forward to that. Actually, before we do go, number 1 Ring Magazine rankings. I see number 4 in box rec. I don't know what's wrong with them, but
yeah, I went up to number 1. They sent me out the T-shirt, and then 2 days later, I'd gone to number 4, which was a bit of a sting, but that's all right. I'll get back there. I'll get back to number 1. Hopefully,
I forgot about the T-shirt. I forgot because I saw you with the T-shirt. So they actually sent you a T-shirt.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it good quality, awesome, or is it terrible?
Yeah, no, it's decent. Yeah, it's decent, and yeah, I was pretty happy to have that. But then, obviously, by the time the T-shirt had arrived at my house, I was at number 4, which was a bit of a kick in the teeth. But that's all right. I'll do something about that.
Ring Magazine.
I'll be back soon. And yeah, Ring Magazine, the best ratings of all. I'm still number 1, so I'm happy about that. And I'm hopefully in December we can win the belt. That's been the ultimate goal. So I'd love to win that belt. It's such a prestigious belt, and yeah, it would be a massive honor to be the Ring Magazine champion. So hopefully in December. Who's
number 2 in Ring Magazine rankings in your way?
Santiago moved to number 2.
Ooh, so they have to do it. They have to do it.
But Rodriguez was number 2. So when he wins, we'll have to wait and see who they put at number 2.
They've done. Oh, sorry.
You go, yeah. Whoever they put at number 2, I mean, that's probably the fight that I'd prefer, because that's the belt I want. So we'll wait and see after the Rodriguez fight who they rate number 2, and that's who I'll be going after, and hopefully the team can put the fight together.
Yeah, Ring Magazine belt. I think they should, even if you do fight number 3, because Ring Magazine
they have in the past.
Yeah, like Grove Smith, that was a 1 versus 3.
Yeah, I think they have done 1 and 3 in the past. It's generally 1 and 2 only, but yeah, we'll wait and see. I mean, Santiago or Rodriguez, I mean, they're massive fights, so hopefully we can get the belt on the line for either of them. But yeah, we'll wait and see.
Yeah, should get it on the line. That'd be cool. Okay, my friend, thank you very much again for all your time, bending your ear on all the things in boxing. And we hope to speak to you very soon. Hope to get some fight news very soon. Thank you very much, Jason Moloney.
A pleasure, mate. Always good to chat.